Welcome to the Snap Revise YouTube channel. I'm Amy, and for this video I'm going to talk about the different styles of learner and how you can identify which one you are to try and tailor your revision to be more enjoyable and engaging and hopefully make it a little bit less boring. It's no secret that revising for your A-levels can be very dull, especially if you just sit down and do the same thing time and time again. To really enhance your learning and to make the time that you spend revising more effective, you might need to do some revision reflection, where you sit down and have a look at what you have been doing so far and where that's working and where you could improve your revision practices a little bit to make it a bit more interesting. In my research for this video, I have identified the 6 broad types of learner, and I will go through these, talk to you about what they all are, how you can identify which one you may be aligned with, and then talk about some ways that you can match up this learning style to some A-level and Gcse revision practices. Before I continue though, I do want to quickly say that there isn't really such a thing as a single learner style that you align with, so you might find one that resonates more than another, but we should in reality be using lots of different approaches to our revision to make it as effective as we possibly can. So basically use this video as inspiration for leveling up your own revision and finding some ways that you maybe haven't thought about before to approach going over your topic content, but don't take each individual learning style as gospel, because you really should be using a variety of methods to tackle your revision, not just one. I'm by no means an authority on this. This is purely just information that I have taken from the internet and compiled together for you to use for your revision. So if you feel like something maybe doesn't work out, it's probably true. Just take whatever you feel resonates from this video. So the first learning style for this video is the visual learner, and this pretty much does what it says on the tin. You like to consume information in a visual format. Visual learning is very beneficial because there is a huge array of resources out there that are all geared towards visual learners. I'd say that everybody is a visual learner. You know, humans have evolved fantastic eyesight. It's what helps us to extract information from the environment around us, to find food, shelter, and to evade predators. So we are just naturally designed to taking in information in a visual format. We respond very well to information that's presented visually in an effective way. So as a visual learner, you want to use revision resources that are eye-catching and visually attractive. So for revision, flashcards are fantastic for visual learners because they summarize information with diagrams to back up coloured text and are easy to carry around with us and look at any time. You could also use mind maps with effective use of colours, so you could colour code different topics within your biology specification, for example, and then use other colours to draw links between the different topics. Post-it notes that are different colours for your different A-level subjects, and you could put those up all around your house with small little reminders that just catch your eye as you're going about your daily tasks. You could also watch YouTube videos or any other kind of video and summarise the information within them using coloured pens in a mind map or in a poster. Posters are a revision technique that I'm a personal fan of. I did it for my A-levels, where I basically summarised each topic into an A4 sheet using different text, different colours, different images to accompany the core information, and then print those off so I could have them in a ring bound folder and take it with me wherever I needed to do my revision. If you make your own posters as well, you can make them in a certain style that you particularly like, and I think it's quite nice to have that compilation of notes from your A-levels or from during your degree to sort of look back on. It really nicely summarises all of the hours of work you've put into revision. So given visual learners' attraction to visual cues, we also need to be aware of negative cues, and these are ones that could actually distract us from our revision. So being a visual learner, you take in a lot of information about your environment just by looking around. If you see something that could be a source of distraction, this could prove fatal for your revision. So if you have anything in your revision environment that you know is going to distract you, then you need to remove it, because that temptation is just too much. If you can see it, you're going to go on it, so keep it out of sight and out of mind just while you revise. Check out this video just up here which talks about removing visual cues. This video goes into much more depth about it and talks a bit more about staying motivated for your A-levels, because visual distractions aren't the only thing that could stand in the way of more effective revision. So definitely go check that video out. Next up we have the kinesthetic learners. If you're a kinesthetic learner, then you do your deep learning by having hands-on interaction with a topic rather than just sitting down and reading or writing about it. This learning style is pretty easy to identify. If you are a kinesthetic learner, then you like to be practical. You might be good at sports, you probably really enjoy school trips and getting to go anywhere that's outside of the classroom. You might also prefer to do subjects that have some more practical elements to them rather than the academic subjects, which are largely reading and writing. Kinesthetic learners like to be active participants in the learning rather than passive observers, and they like to keep busy. Unfortunately, at A-levels, you just simply have so much information to digest that the best way to do it is within a classroom. This is why A-levels aren't for everyone, but if you do feel passionate about the kinesthetic way of learning, then luckily there are some things that you can do to make your revision a little bit more interesting for the way that you prefer to learn. So what we want to do is try and find a way to convert your A-level notes into a format that you can interact with. I was thinking that this could work for particularly tricky concepts. For example, the Krebs cycle, you have lots to remember for that. You could perhaps make physical elements of each stage of the Krebs cycle and then lay that out on the floor in front of you so that you can move things around and test yourself with memorizing where each of those components goes in the cycle. You could then play around with active recall, so trying to lay out the Krebs cycle from memory and then seeing how you did and repeating until you can get all of the components in the right place. Or you could make a model of something within your specification, like a topic or a formula or any sort of concept that you need to remember out of plasticine or clay, and then you can keep that within your revision environment as a constant visual cue. Basically, any form of revision that has a practical element to it will be good for the kinesthetic learner. I'm sure there are loads of ways that you can build this in, so if you think of any other ideas that I haven't mentioned, then please do pop them in the comments for everybody else to have a look at. For the next learning style, I've actually combined two in one, so we've got the oral and the verbal learners. I've kind of rolled these into one because I think they're complementary to each other in terms of what I would recommend that you do for your A-level revision. So bear with me as we go through the oral and the verbal learners. So if you sway more towards the oral side, this means that you prefer to digest your information in an audio format. And to identify yourself as an oral learner, you are probably very good at retaining information from hearing it for just a short amount of time. For example, remembering phone numbers, people's birthdays, people's names. If you're pretty good at that kind of stuff, you're probably an oral learner. This is great because a lot of the learning we do at A-level is from listening to our teachers who present certain topics, and then again at university you will be sitting through hours of lectures, so you will do very well in the traditional learning environment as an oral learner. As audio is the preferred input in this instance, podcasts are fantastic. Listening to videos on YouTube that are teaching videos. I don't know if over the pandemic you would have had lessons recorded, but if you can go back and listen to those recordings, that might help you. But also, again, coming back to the negative cues, removing audio distractions is also key for an oral learner. So if you can, try and work in a quiet work environment where you can't hear the voices of your friends or television or anything that could take you away from your focused revision sessions. Verbal learners are good with words and are probably very good presenters, and this is why I've combined them with the oral learners, because I think that together they could actually benefit from each other in the way that they like to learn. Given that verbal learners are so good at talking to other people, they will benefit from setting up small sessions where they get to teach other students various concepts within their subject. You could get into tutoring or even set up a social media channel where you can talk about the course content that will benefit you in making it and benefit others from watching. Next up, we have the social learners, and this does what it says on the tin. If you're a social learner, then you probably work best in a group and enjoy learning from others and engaging with them and speaking to them whilst in lessons. If you are this type of learner, then a fun revision method for you would probably be to form small study groups where you can teach each other concepts, work through past papers together, and bounce ideas off each other. I think social learning is fantastic because it offers aspects of learning which you can't really get from independent learning. Being around others and talking about your shared problems and shared A-level experiences will help to reduce stress, and you also get to hear about ideas that other people have that you just wouldn't have come up with yourself. If you can identify some other social learners at your school, then definitely form a group with each other and do group work, because I think that will be a great way for you to work through your A-levels. Right at the other end of our spectrum from the social learners, we have the interpersonal learners. These are the people who prefer to work alone and are typically very highly motivated. It's true that everybody to some extent has to do some independent learning because we can't be around others all the time, but interpersonal learners prefer to work in this way. So if you do feel like you tend to prefer to be on your own when revising, this could be your learning style. As far as A-level revision is concerned, for interpersonal learners, I'd recommend that you track your progress through your revision, either with a retrospective timetable or from making to-do lists, just any way that you can see how far you've got through your A-level revision and how much further you have left to go. This gives you both the satisfaction in seeing what you've completed and motivation to continue to work towards the exams in the summer or whatever goals that you're setting for yourself. Given the high level of self-motivation and discipline required, being an interpersonal learner is quite a rare attribute. If you identify with this learning style, then you join the likes of Helen Keller, Aristotle, Virginia Woolf, Albert Einstein and Martin Luther King, who all had incredible interpersonal intelligence, which gave them their fame in their respective fields. The last learning style I found in my research is the logical learner. These lucky people are typically good at maths and enjoy exercising their logical skills through problem solving and linking concepts to clarify understanding. This synaptic learning style is effective for building active recall skills and helps to establish an insight into the deeper significance of your subject content. Active recall is therefore something that the logical learner should be doing a lot of, and in fact every A-level student should be doing a lot of. Practicing exam questions has a multitude of benefits which I feel like I talk about in every video, but it is true, doing active recall is the best way to prepare for your exams. So there we go, those are the learning styles. Next time you have a scheduled revision session, maybe take a few minutes out to have a think about ways that you can make your own revision a bit more fun and engaging and get you to really think about your A-level subjects in a different way to how you have been so far. If you don't mind, we would love it if you could give us a like on this video and share it with your friends. Don't forget to comment down below some of your own ideas for different ways of making revision a bit more interesting. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to Snap Revise just here. We have tons of content to help you get through your A-levels, from teaching videos to weekly web classes, as well as advice videos like this one, and you can check one of our other advice videos out just here. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the channel again soon.